Alright, let's get right into it. I'm going to show you how to pressure your opponent with Erron Black. So, let's get right into it. So, here's the thing. So, when it comes down to this version of Erron Black, Scud Shot is actually a very interesting move. It is very, very interesting. You have this, it starts blocking all the projectiles. You can throw this 7% into mid. Really good, right? But you could actually cancel out of it. A lot of good Erron Black players do this. So you could do things like this. Here's the thing. So here's the thing, the tricky part about doing this string right here. A lot of people have problems with this string, but I'm going to break it down for you. When it comes down to it, it goes, what is it? High, mid, overhead, overhead, right? So you could actually do is this right here. You could do 1, 2, and before the overhead start coming out, you could actually cancel out of it and really fuck up your opponent's timing. Like, he's ready to block, right? Don't do this right here. Don't do it after the overhead. Do it before. Sorry, alright. Do it before. There you go. And then that's when you start doing whatever the fuck it is you want to do. Check this out. Here's some options that you can do. Check this out. So you can do, and then go into this and say fuck it. Do it unsafe as, unpredictable as, this into a slide. You could do that. Fuck it, right? You could also do grab. You could also do, and then just start throwing off your opponent's timing. Or you can do, and then something like that. There's a lot of shit that you can do off of it. But my advice, do the cancel before the overhead. Because that's going to be like, wait, why isn't the overhead coming out? Then he's going to think it's a fucking slide that's going to come out. That's another thing you could do. You could do, and then go into a fucking low. There's a lot of shit that you can do with that string. Another thing you could do is just 1, 2, and then start grabbing, and then he doesn't have to worry about that shit. So that is another thing to add to, you know, doing this right here. Like, doing that, doing this, and then going in for the grab, or, and then just fucking hold it. Now that's another thing I want to talk about. Holding the Scud Shot. One thing I like to do a lot is literally just hold it. Hold it and just see where my opponent's at with his reaction time. You do this, creates a little bit of space, and a lot of people, they try poking and then you could possibly get them for it. Like, one thing I like to do is just like wait, like now, and then I'll throw it just like that. Because after the Scud Shot, the only thing after this string right here, the only thing that you could do that where your opponent cannot poke out of is the slide. Everything else is just not going to work. It's just not. You could possibly do this right here. What is it? Say fuck it, but you can get full comboed. Easily get full comboed. But that is an option. Like, one thing I sometimes do is do this and then just like throw my opponent off completely. But you can get comboed if you're playing against somebody really good. That's one thing. But there's actually times where I do that. I don't even get fucking punished for it. It's kind of wild. So there's that. But for the most part, what you're going to want to be doing is just holding it and doing that. The reason why you're going to want to hold it and do that is because you get out of there. Just like that. You get out of there or throw it down 4 or challenge your opponent, whatever. It's just your opponent's like, fuck. Or you make him try to fucking mash right away, and then you hit him. Just fuck up his timing. Just throw his timing off completely. Another thing you could do is, let me show you. And then grab him, just like that. Like, and then grab, do something like that, and just throw your opponent off. Instead of, don't be that guy that does this and then do it before. It's like, what the fuck was that? Why? Where's the other overhead coming? Like, after one overhead, just like that. Just like that. Don't do this right here. And then, sorry. It's kind of tricky to do. Don't do that at the end. It's just not worth doing at the end because you can get full comboed. It's better to do it in between because your opponent's like, what the fuck, you know? Another thing I like to do, I do this shit a ton. Overhead low. Fuck it, no, like, that's what I do. 15%, it always fucking works. I do this all the time. So one way I like to set up is I'll do 1, 2, 1, 2, boom. They never see it fucking coming. They really don't. I'll do 1, and then just come pressure, and then fucking 50-50s, basically. Basically 50-50s. Another thing you could do is just boom, boom, and then go into a slide or whatever it is you want to do. So it's like cancels, 50-50s. You could also be safe for a bar, which I think is worth it. I know people complain, oh, you're being fucking safe for a bar. It's like, I'll take it. Why the fuck not, you know? So there's that. There's a lot of things that you could do off of that. Now, another thing that you can do to like really, really put the pressure on your opponent, and I do this all the time, is down force into scud shots. Why the fuck not? Why not? The reason why I do this, so here's the thing, why I do down force into scud shot. People saying, well, you're doing that for a fucking bar. It's not worth it. Here's the reason why I say it is worth it. You're going to make your opponent hesitant all the time after you throw a down 4. Every time I throw a down 4, I can cancel out of it and just like walk up, grab him, because like, oh, he's going to fucking do this shit again. Another thing you can do is go into that. Throw acid instead, and people are like, whoa, what the fuck? And then they jump. You do this, people jump, and then anti-air the shit out of them. So then, you do this, scud shot, acid, safe. There's just options on, like, instead of this just being a good ass down 4, there's mind games to it now. Like, you can start doing stuff like that, or doing stuff like that. It's like acid, you know, of a scud shot that's safe. Just more mind games, to which is one of the best down 4s in the damn game. So there's that. Last but not least, I want to talk about his full screen presence and how to scare people with the rifle to make your full screen presence even more dangerous. So you can start doing stuff like this and stuff like that. So here's the thing about doing stuff like that, right? So this is a mid, right? One thing I like to do is, of course, this, and then you complete the string, right? Like right? So one thing you could actually do is this, and then go into an overhead. That is one thing I like to do, or this, a bullet, and then go in for an overhead. So now, if I do this right here, so check this out. At certain ranges, right? So I'm like, Luke Kane. You cannot jump out of that. You're basically fucked. Like, unless, you know, your opponent predicts that you're gonna fucking do something about it. But you cannot jump out of that shit. It's like, oh, you cannot jump out of it. You try jumping any direction, you're gonna get hit with that fucking overhead. And they could also go in for a slide or whatever. So with this, if this lands, you can just start pressuring your opponent from full screen. Now, another thing is that you could do with this shit, one thing I like to do, I like to do one, another one, and then just overhead. Or this, one, and go into your unofficial bullets. There's a lot of things that you can do that's really tight with, like, being able to take this out. Because, like, people just get bombarded with this shit, and you start getting closer, and then you could just go for the overhead, or going for what is it, a fucking slide, and that's how you really pressure the shit out of your opponent. Because this knocks your opponent down, which is really nice. You knock him down, and you can start throwing acid and be completely safe from, like, a good amount of teleports. Like, you just do it just right, you could do that. Then the overhead, you know, you can start doing stuff. There's a lot of cool shit that you can do, but one thing that I always recommend, because you're gonna land this overhead, and you're gonna land a grab, and then you're gonna this, and they just create space. One thing I like to do is literally pull my gun out and, like, just do it again. This, and then go for it again. Go for the overhead again. It just throws your opponent off. Or you can even do something like this, like let's say I'll do this, and then throw the acid and get the fuck out of there, and just start throwing with, you know, fucking with their timing, or do this, and then go in for your bullet. There's a lot of things that you can do off of the cancel, and then off of this bullet as well, because again, it gives you hit advantage. So you start landing it from, like, ranges like this, you can literally boom, go into your overhead and do stuff like that. Because Erron Black has a full screen presence that's really very unique that not a lot of other characters have. So there's that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Holla back. Check you bastards later. Deuces.